I've had enough trouble for one night, thought Argyle. I better find my way over to Brenna's. Keeping to the shadows of the night, Argyle made his way through the slums. He pulled the hood of his coat jacket up over his head, keeping off the cold drizzle, and moved past several large buildings in various states of disrepair. He weaved around the patches of garbage and puddle-filled potholes that spotted the alleyways. It wasn't a long walk before he reached the building where Brenna and her family stayed. It was a large tenement with closed wooden shutters. The plastered walls were peeling and cracking like the skin of some dead giant. He opened the main entry door and walked inside. His boots left slight sodden marks in the creaking wooden floors. Within, he could hear many muffled noises, the rain lightly sprinkling, a baby crying, and some drunkard laughing in the night. Argyle ascended 2 flights of stairs and found his way to Brenna's flat. He pressed his lips nearly against the door crack and whistled. His whistle was like the sound of some warbled bird, and it softly pierced the subdued silence. He waited, and then whistled at the door again. He heard a bit of movement inside, and then the door opened, slightly, revealing in the dim a sliver of Brenna's face. She had pale skin, dappled with freckles, and auburn-brown hair. Her eyes squinted with sleepiness, and she whispered hoarsely, "What do you want?" "I'm sorry." "Shh! I'm sorry. I really need a place to stay. The city watch busted into the warehouse." Brenna's eyes furrowed and she cocked her head, obviously annoyed. "Did they see you come here?" No, of course not." Brenna sighed. "Please, I have nowhere sound to go. Here." Argyle reached into his pouch, drew out one of the silver coins, and held it out. "Take this. You can use it to get your family some food." Brenna eyed the coin. "Is this why you're running from the watch?" You know. Come on. Please, Brenna." Argyle is making a diplomacy check here. He rolls good. His result is 17. He successfully persuades Brenna. Brenna took the coin that Argyle offered, and she shook her head, half in annoyance and half in humor. She opened the creaking wooden door and gestured Argyle inside. "Thank you." In the dim flat, he could see her 2 brothers sleeping on bedrolls, which were little more than a layer of old cloth and worn blankets. Brenna handed him a tattered cloak, then lied back down. "Here, now good night." Argyle lied down and let out a long sigh of relief. He slept for a number of hours, until he woke to the sound of Brenna arguing with her parents. Immediately, Argyle could tell it was about him. They obviously did not like the idea of Argyle staying at their place, and said in more than one way that he was trouble. Brenna tried her best to persuade them otherwise, though mostly for her own sake than his. When she pointed out that he had given her a silver coin for food, they seemed to relax a little bit. He heard her say, "I promise he'll be gone soon." To which her father replied, "When I get back home this evening, he better not be here." Argyle pretended to be sleeping as Brenna's father passed through the room and out the door. Not long after, Brenna came to wake him. He opened his eyes quickly, saying, I heard. "What are you going to do?" "I don't know. Let me think. Have you got anything to eat?" "Me and Mom are setting up breakfast. We'll talk afterwards." Argyle ate a small breakfast with Brenna's family. He said little and tried his best to be polite, not too imposing. Her mother thanked him for the coin he had offered, but reminded him that her home was not an inn. After eating, Argyle and Brenna made their way outside. It was still drizzling lightly, and the cold of the night still clung to the morning air. They walked down the puddled street towards the marketplace. Argyle looked about from time to time, nervously, as if expecting some guard to apprehend him. He kept his hood up and his eyes down. Brenna said, "So, are you going to tell me what happened?" "Well, there's not much to tell. I was at Mort's pub, just hanging around as always, keeping an eye out for... Opportunities? Yes, opportunities. There was this one man. We've both seen him there before. A big portly fellow. Drunk and loud. He has a big mustache? That's the bloke. So I went for his purse, and I got it. I didn't think anyone spotted me. In fact, I'm now certain of it. I'd bet when old Tubby noticed his purse gone, he caused quite a ruckus. He had to pin the blame. Was there anybody there that knew you?" "Brenna, I'm at Mort's pub at least once a week. Lots know me." "I meant anybody who knew that you thieve, where you'd been staying." Argyle thought for many moments. "Yeah, perhaps. It's possible that Rufus knew." Rufus was a name that made Brenna's nose wrinkle. He was a frequent patron at Mort's pub, and she had heard that he hung around with a couple of thieves from time to time. Never bold or skilled enough to join their ranks, but egotistical enough to keep them as buddies. Rufus was a weasel-like fellow with crooked teeth and mussy hair. On a couple of occasions, he had tried to flirt with Brenna, even going so far as to pinch her. Too far for comfort as far as she was concerned. "And he's just the sort to rat you out to Mr. Portley." "Oh, the city watch. Damn it." "What did you do with the money that you stole?" "Well, one coin brought me a meal at the Vampire's Kiss." "Ooh, was Drake Archer there?" "Yes." "Performing?" "No." "I need to get over there sometime soon." "Anyways, another coin I gave to you, and, well..." Argyle held up the last of the 3 silver coins. "That's it?" Argyle nodded. "Oh dear. Well, what can you expect? That's more than I would have made singing there. You know, if I could land a gig at the Vampire's Kiss, I could make some decent pay. Why don't we stop there on the way back from the market? But what about Rufus? I just can't let that worm nearly get me thrown in the city prison." "So then what? You'll risk it again just to get back at him? What would you do to him anyways?" Argyle gestured toward the dagger he had concealed under his coat jacket. "You wouldn't do that." "Would you?" "Oh, I don't know. Maybe I should just look for a new place to stay." "You've got all day. Keep me company. And I will talk to my parents tonight. I'm sure I can convince them to let you stay on another night or 2.